So by the end of this lesson, okay, you guys should know about the category of analytic methods. So we have 4 categories. So we will look after this. And then the second one, you should know about the methodology used for data analytics. Okay, and the third one is the popular analytics method that people always use to solve the problems. And the last one is how to choose the analytic methods. I know that you have learned this in data mining and machine learning subjects, but this is only a recap. Okay, tapi kita macam emphasize on data analytics lah. All the techniques actually from data mining and machine learning subjects. Okay, just to recap the purpose of data analytics that we have learned in chapter 1. Okay, we know that this data analytics is meant for to support the decision making for the company organization, and that it can also give advantage to the company over their competitors, meaning that they can do some analytics based on the data that they have to compete with their competitors. And then from the data also, if they do the correct analysis, okay, the very extensive analytics, it can give more insight, okay, so that they can use the insights for the future, for their future plan. Okay, and during in that chapter also we have seen this case study. Actually, we have seen a few case studies, but I only take this one. Okay, this is the hospital where they combine all the informations from the current case, current situation, together with the data that they have to come out with other things. For example, here the hospital use all the information in offering new services to the local community. Okay, so those are the things that analytics can help the company or the organization. Okay, that is the recap. So this is the main hero, the types of analytics. Okay, there are 4 types of analytics where if you Google, dia akan keluar 4 lah. But sometimes there are few websites that they said, oh, there are only 3 types of analytics. Okay, so jangan terkejut benda tu. Actually, it is actually 4, but sometimes they combine the first 2 analytics together because it is related to the data. Okay, so the first type of analytics is descriptive analytics, where it helps us to understand about our data. Okay, what is happening based on the data. So to mine the analytics, you typically use a real-time dashboard or email reports. So we have to come out with a report. Okay, tak kisahlah whether the report will be in the hard copy ke, soft copy ke, ataupun dalam bentuk dashboard. But you need to display your descriptive analytics, the findings for this descriptive analytics. Okay, it's all about the data. You need to describe everything that you have about the data. Maknanya kalau you can perform all the statistical punya tests, and then you can check the correlation, everything in this in this phase. And then the second one is the diagnostic analytics, where we look at the past performance to determine what happened and why. So we try to investigate why the data behave like that. Okay, and the result also must be shown in a dashboard or in reports lah. Okay, sama. That's why some people, they combine the descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics together. Okay, the third one is the predictive analytics, where we can use the historical data or anything, okay, any data that we have, current ke, historical ke, to predict the future. Okay, what will happen in the future? So is it the tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year, or maybe for another 5 years macam tu. Okay. And the output for this predictive analytics definitely the predictive model. And the last one is the prescriptive analytics, where it will explain or what is about the action should be taken, meaning that from predictive analytics, we will know what will happen in the future. So what are the actions should be taken if the situation happen. So tak kisahlah sama ada dia akan that situation is a good situation or a bad situation. So there must be some apa kata some action. Kalau kata bad, kena ada apa preventive punya action lah. Okay, kalau kata it is a good sign, so it will generate more incomes or more profits in the future. So how to maintain it or how to boost the what the profit. Okay, so those are the things under prescriptive analytics. So if you can see, the descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive is actually the end-to-end punya process. So from the raw data, we try to understand, we analyze it, we do the modeling, try to predict what will happen, and then we describe. We prescribe. Okay, what are the things that need to be done? Okay, next will be some description about each of type of analytic type. The first one is descriptive analytics. Okay, tadi ada cerita dah kat you. So one of the example is how we can use this descriptive analytics to help in assessing the credit risk. Okay, usually the financial institution, banks, apa semua tu, they will use the historical data about their customer. For example, let's say the customer apply for a loan. Okay, so based on the historical data, they will evaluate. Okay, maybe they will look at the salary, the track record, how the customer pay their loans. Not only maybe the customer has the loan with that particular financial institution, but they will also look at overall, okay, the overall financial performance for that particular customer. So based on that, they will determine whether the application should be approved or rejected. Okay, so this descriptive analytics can be also used in the sales cycles. Say, for example, to categorize customers by their likely product preferences and also sales cycles. So based on the sales record, usually we can see, okay, what kind of product that people always buy. Okay, and also when is the time that people always buy those products. So dia boleh target lah some sales ke, nak buat some promotion ke during that time for in the future. Okay, that is the descriptive analytics. Next, we will see diagnostic analytics. Okay, analytics bukan analysis, sorry, typo. Analytics. Okay, this is used for discovery or to determine why something happened, meaning that when we investigate, when we try to understand the data, we can see the pattern. So based on the pattern, we try to investigate why the pattern behave or the pattern or the data behave like that. Okay, so for example here, for a social media marketing campaign, okay, we can use the information that from descriptive analytics, that for example the number of posts, the mentions, because after doing the description about the data tu, kita akan dapat all those information kan. So from there we can see, we can investigate more, meaning that kalau kata nak buat sentiment tu, okay, positive, negative, why positive, why negative, what are the factors that contribute to the positive. So kena tengok, investigate balik, what are the comments that that has the positive punya comments. Negative, okay, what factors, what are the words, what are the things yang people always talk about that product ke atau that company yang negative. Okay, so itu adalah diagnostic analytics. Okay, and the third one will be predictive analytics, where we use it to identify to identify past pattern to predict the future. Okay, using the historical or the current data, we can predict the future. So one of the example is sales lead scoring. Okay, they can predict so many things. For example, kat situ dia boleh predict the entire sales process. They can analyze the lead score, number of communications, types of communications, and many more. Okay, so that they can plan, they can have a proper planning for their marketing strategy untuk support sales, untuk increase their profit, untuk make their process, dia punya everything, management process tu efficiently. Okay. And last one is the prescriptive analytics. So this prescriptive analytics ni, compared to the other three, this is the main thing yang sepatutnya ada. Okay, maknanya kalau you buat analytics tu, it must covers the prescriptive analytics. Okay, however, in the real world, okay, usually people tak pakai sampai prescriptive analytics. They will always use sampai predictive sahaja. Okay, because doing the prescriptive analytics tu, yelah, need more analysis kan, in-depth analysis. So agak susah. That's why some of the company they look forward for the data scientist untuk come out with this. So for example, in healthcare industry, you can better manage the patient population by using prescriptive analytics to measure the number of patients who are clinically obese, then add filters to factors like diabetes and LDL cholesterol level to determine where to focus the treatment. Okay, maknanya dia ada records. They have the records of everything about the patient, and then based on the records, let's say lah patient tu dia ada, mungkin dia obese but dia tak ada diabetes lagi, but they can predict whether the patient boleh ada diabetes ke tidak. Okay, and then kalau kata okay, this patient potentially to have the diabetes, then what are the things, what kind of treatment that they can give to the patient. Kalau kata dia ada diabetes, lain pula treatment dia. So dia macam personalize punya dia macam ada profiling lah, patient profiling kat situ, sebab dia akan personalize for that particular patient. Every patient dia akan ada different treatments and different set of medication. And the same prescription model can be applied to almost any industry or target group or problem. Okay, sebab kita dah ada a set of rules how to solve the problem. So kalau kata ada certain other problems from other domains that has similar behavior ke, similar problems, macam mana yang tadi tu, so we can use the same method to solve the problem. Okay, that one is the types of analytics. So now we will see what do we search for in data analytics. So basically, when we talk about data analytics, we will always look at these two things. Okay, at the beginning part. Okay, because we have the data, and what should we do with the data? The first one is the correlation. The second one is we will look at the pattern of the data. Bentuk dia macam mana. Okay, the characteristics of the data. The correlation is about how the variables, the relationship between the variables. Meaning that adakah the variables tu significant? Maknanya significant tu dia tengok pula highly significant, weak significant, or not significant at all. Okay, it will see those things. That's why kalau you belajar, you all belajar kan DSC 551 yang programming for data science tu, mungkin ada dalam tu ada heat map. Okay, those heat map can be used to define the correlation for each variables. And then this is the methodology for data analytics, where nowadays they use not only for data analytics but for data mining and also any data science project. Okay, the methodology called CRISDM. Okay, it is a cross-industry standard process for data mining, and generally it has 6 steps. Okay, 6 steps. Dia macam kalau kata you map with the SDLC, the standard SDLC, dia lebih kurang. Okay, because SDLC we know that it starts with planning, planning, analysis, development, implementation and support. Okay, tapi sebab itu that one is a normal software development. This is more towards data analytics kan. So they have divided it into 6 phases yang lagi precise lah untuk setiap satu tu apa benda nak kena buat. So we can see that it starts with business understanding and then followed by data understanding, data preparation, and after that we can do modeling. After modeling we need to evaluate our model, and then lastly is deployment. And you can see that from one phase to another phase there is a two-way error. Dia bi-directional kan, dia boleh pergi, dia boleh patah balik, because we always need to go back to the previous phases untuk check. Okay, kita kena macam check and balance lah whether our proposed solution meet the business objective or not. Okay, so that one is very important. So now let's look at every phases in CRISP-TM. We start with business understanding. So first thing first, once you get a project, you need to understand about the requirement of the project. Okay, the problem. What are the problems that you want to solve, and what is there any business rules that you need to follow, because you have the problem. Okay, problem ada, kita try to solve the problems, tapi solution tu must tally with the business rules. So benda tu tak boleh nak, you cannot ignore the business rules. Okay, sebab you need to take into consideration juga all the business rules in your proposed solution. And then this may require multiple iterations before an acceptable solution formulation would appear. So you need maybe first meeting, you try to understand about the problems, you try to understand about the business rules, everything, and then you go back, think about the solution, and then have another meeting with the stakeholders, whether they agree with the solution or not. So it depends. Kalau they accept, then we can move to the next step. So there are a few things that the design team, the solution design team, need to think about. The problem and also the scenario that you are trying that they are trying to solve. Okay, and there are few questions that should be asked. For example, what exactly do we want to do? How exactly would we do it? And what parts of this use scenario constitute possible data mining models? And many more, many other questions. Okay, it's not limited to these 3 questions. Okay, that is business understanding. So kalau you buat FYP, this is the first and the most important phase. Okay, kalau tak faham problem, that's why I tak sure lah, maybe during presentation tu, you punya FYP lecturers always said, oh, you need to make sure that the problem is clear, the objective is clear. It's because of this one lah. Okay, you need to really understand what is the problem that you want to solve. And then solutions to tally tak dengan apa benda problem yang you nak buat. Kadang-kadang kita faham students, tak kata students lah, I think I dulu pun sama juga. Benda yang sama, kita belajar kan. At first stage, memang we make mistakes. But after that, slowly lah pick up balik. Okay, that is business understanding. And then the second one, once the solution has been approved by the stakeholders, so you receive a data, of course lah, dia akan ada process of data collection, everything tu. Ataupun if they have the existing data, they will pass the data to the team, and then you need to understand about the data. Okay, dekat sini yang you akan buat descriptive analytics. Okay, you try to understand about the data, you try to see the relationship among the variables. Is it all the variables in the data set enough for the solution, ataupun you need another more attributes. So banyak benda nak kena tengok kat sini. Okay, So dia kata apa? Important to understand the strength and limitation of the data because rarely is there an exact match with the problem. Okay, macam saya cakap tadi lah. Kadang-kadang you dapat data mungkin terlebih. Kalau terlebih attribute tu senang. Tapi kalau macam terkurang attributes, so you need to do more maybe you need to acquire from another database, try to merge, or you need to, the company need to do some data collection or I don't know. Okay, so dia kena the data tu mesti match with the problem. Kena ada sebab nanti kita nak buat predictive models, kalau tak cukup data, tak cukup attributes, we cannot provide a better solution, a good predictive models. So for example, here historical data are often collected for different purpose. So when we collect for different purpose, nak guna untuk benda lain, some of it mungkin tak match and some of the variables that we need tak ada dekat dalam data tu. So tu yang nak kena tengok balik. So it is common for business problem to have several data mining tasks and the results for each task solve the problem. Okay, after understanding all about the data, okay, it's time for you to do data preparation. So data preparation, benda yang you dah belajar dalam machine learning, we have the data pre-processing punya section, and in data mining also you have learned about this, how to deal with missing value, how to deal with the outliers, apa lagi, how to do transformation, how to do normalization, everything. So you need to prepare your data. Okay, tak kisahlah data you whether in a structured format or unstructured format. So you need to know what are the problems with the data set. Second, what are the techniques that you need to use, the data pre-processing techniques that you need to use to solve all the problems in your data set. Okay, we know that kalau numerical, dia ada dia ada sets of pre-processing steps, and for unstructured pun dia ada sets dia. Kan? So sometimes we are not using all the steps, so tengoklah kesesuaian. Jadi tak bolehlah tengok nanti kalau kata you buat FYP nanti you kata oh si A ni buat macam ni, B buat macam ni, so nanti gaduh pula, kenapa tak sama, ini kena macam ni. Ada pernah jadi macam tu, and kadang-kadang tu dia share sama-sama metodologinya sama je, padahal si B ni dia tak pakai pun a few steps, tapi sebab si A pakai jadi dia kata oh saya pun kena pakai benda tu. Tak semestinya you kena pakai. It depends to your data set. Okay. And the next one, after doing the data preparation, once you have the clean data, okay, it's time for modeling. So modeling, as you have learned in data mining and machine learning, we have supervised, we have unsupervised. So what kind of analytics method or what kind of methods that you can use for this modeling. Okay, tengok apa benda objektif, tengok you punya data set, and you try to match those two, okay, the objective and also the data set. So typically the output is some sort of model or pattern capturing regularities in the data. And after modeling, we will do evaluation. So the aim of this evaluation is to assess the data mining results and to gain confidence that the results are valid and also reliable. Okay, and in evaluation phase, it must you must involve the stakeholders too, because stakeholders will have a final say. Okay, betul ke tak dah capai punya objektif, dia punya objektif, betul ke tak dah solve the problems yang betul-betul yang awal-awal tadi dia cakap. Okay, if everything's okay, then you can proceed for the next process lah. But usually dia mesti ada, dia pergi balik lah during evaluation tu, because sometimes stakeholders macam kenapa tak macam ni, kenapa tak macam tu, kan, standard lah benda tu, and then they would like to know what you have proposed and then how does it perform. Berapa kalau kata dia boleh buat prediction, kalau you nak come out with a prediction model, how many % accurate, and then you also need to evaluate using both quantitative and qualitative assessment. Meaning that quantitative ni mungkin lebih kepada performance evaluations yang kalau nak pakai F1 score ke, nak pakai confusion matrix ke, all the sensitivity, specificity, precision, recall, everything tu. Kalau qualitative assessments, maybe you need to take the comments from the stakeholders, maknanya acceptance. Boleh buat user acceptance test untuk tengok how are they happy with the solutions or not. So those are the things yang boleh dibuat during evaluation. Okay, and usually for evaluation, model evaluation, we will use the statistical analysis untuk evaluate lah. Okay, macam you belajar confusion matrix, everything tu, those are from statistical. So the last one will be the deployment. Okay, deployment is where we will put our model or our solution for real use. Okay, in order to realize some return on investment, so involve implementing the proposed model, and during this phase still need to do some observation. Okay, kalau kata ada problem, nampak tak? Macam every stage tu, dia kena pergi balik, kena check balik dengan business requirements. Meet ke tidak, betul ke tidak. Sebab walaupun dia dah lepas evaluations, during deployment pun kena ada juga some assessment. If not, nanti susah lah. Okay, and you takkan boleh buat some improvement ataupun refinement. So based on the comments, sebab bila deploy, you will involve the real user. So real user will give more comments compared to stakeholders lah. Stakeholders on their view, stakeholders view on business view. So users ni dia akan bagi comments on their view pula. So how can we improve the solution? Okay, that is CRISP-DM. Okay, and now we move to the analytics method. But before that, do you have any questions? Senang je kan metodologi ni. Dia sama je macam SDLC, just that kalau you tengok balik lah, you try to map with SDLC. Oh, tadi saya dah mapkan this one with descriptive kan. Descriptive yang ni pun, this is descriptive. And also benda tu, descriptive diagnostic. Okay, and then from there data preparation is data preparation lah, data preprocessing kan. So this is the predictive analytics, and evaluation apa semua tu still masuk dalam predictive analytics. And prescriptive analytics tu actually dia macam luar sikit lah daripada CRISP-DM tu. Okay, kalau you nak map, but yeah, different people might have different idea lah. Maybe you have better idea compared to apa yang I dah cakap tadi tu. Okay, so please remember this, and then okay, analytic methods. Tak ada soalan Semua okay?
Okay, doktor.
Okay. So analytics method, ini pun saya rasa senang je kepada you all sebab you have learned this in 2 subjects. You dah belajar dalam data mining, you dah belajar dalam machine learning pula, okay? About classification, class probability estimation, about the regression, what is similarity matching, clustering, co-occurrence grouping, and also profiling. You dah belajar dah benda-benda tu. Tapi untuk subjek ni kita tak adalah tengok algorithm satu-satu sebab we assume that you have the prior knowledge from those from both subjects. Okay, but we tried to match with this analytics method, okay, with the case study. So we have one case study, and after this kita tengoklah dekat mana. Maknanya setiap satu analytic methods tu macam mana. Okay, this is a case study of Mega Telco. So Mega Telco is a telecommunication company, and this company has a major problem with customer retention. Okay, dia kata apa? 20% of sell customer leave as soon as their contracts expired, and lately it has been getting increasingly difficult to acquire new customer. And new cell phone market has become saturated. Telco companies are battling to attract each other's customer while retaining their own. Then customer switching from one company to another is called churn. Okay, yang kita buat dekat lab hari tu, tak adalah hari tu kan, semalam dengan hari Isnin tu. Okay, merujuk pada case study ni. Okay, churn and loyal customer. So, based on this case study, jom kita tengok each of the analytics methods tu macam mana nak buat. So, for classification and class probability estimation, the goal here is to predict in which class an individual belongs to, meaning that which class customer tu akan belongs to. The question that we can ask, okay, the possible question that we can ask among all customers of telco, mega telco, which are likely to respond to a given offer if you want to give offer to the customers. Okay, so you need to identify two things. The first one is the customer, okay, the individual as their customer, and then the other one is the classes. Maknanya kita nak predict kan which class the customer will belong to. So, apa kelas dia? So, kelas kat sini, whether that particular individual will respond or will not respond. So, dia ada two classes je lah. Macam dalam customer data semalam, kita ada churn and loyal. Pun sama juga. Tapi dia punya goal dia akan jadi lain lah. Bukan which class yang akan respond atau tak respond pada offer, but it's more to whether the customer will churn or not churn from the services company tu. And for classification task, for this problem, okay, classification task, what we can do is data mining model predict which class an individual belongs to. Sama je macam you buat classification biasa kan, nak classify whether that, for example lah, customer A belongs to, will respond or will not respond. So dia ada two classes je, dia bukan multi-class. And then for probability estimation, instead of predict which class the individual belongs to, it will use probability that the individual will belong to which class. Okay, so it will come in a score value. Okay, contoh dia macam ni lah. Okay, you have a set, you have a customers. Okay, if you have an offer, so how many percent for this customer, contoh lah for this customer. Kenapa dia tak nak keluar? Okay, for this customer, berapa dia punya score? So kalau score dia macam lebih daripada 80, so it will goes into will respond. Kalau score dia less than like 5% macam tu, dia akan masuk dekat will not respond. Kalau kata you buat classification biasa tu kan, based on the data, dia akan terus tolong classify untuk you kan. Tapi kalau class probability estimation tu, dia macam ni. Okay, based on the probability. And for regression, okay, for regression, the goal is to predict or to estimate for each individual the numerical value of some variable for that variable. So kita nak tengok regression, maknanya kalau ni buat prediction kan, ada continuous numbers tu, okay, you can use the prediction. So the question that you can ask is how much will a given customer use the service? How much, maknanya macam tengok kat sini, sekejap before kita tengok kat situ. The task will be predict the service usage. Okay, so kita nak tahu how much customer use the service. So we will predict the service usage for a particular individual, typically by looking at one similar individuals in the population and their historical usage. Okay, dia macam ni. So based on this one, kita tengok, okay, kita try buat regression and then we will see, okay, oh, this customer will use a lot of the, apa nama service tadi? Service usage. Okay, dia akan guna banyak. And then this customer, oh mungkin tak dipakai, only a little usage for that particular service. Okay, that one is kalau you pakai regression. And then as for similarity matching, so this one is between classification, regression and also clustering. Dia di tengah-tengah. Okay, the goal is to identify similar individuals based on the data known about them. Okay, we try to match. Okay, kita cari similarity matching based on the data that we have. So most popular methods for making product recommendation, so by finding people who are similar to you when purchasing items. So bila dia nak cari new customers, dia akan tengok okay customer ni behavior dia macam mana. So dia carilah dalam dia punya database tu kalau customer yang macam ni what kind of things yang dia boleh provide. Macam offer ke apa benda kan. So dia bolehlah bagi. That one is similarity matching, and for clustering, we try to cluster our customer into few clusters. So how many clusters tu usually? Actually we don't know kan. Kalau buat clustering is an unsupervised learning. Jadi we cannot determine how many clusters it will perform. Tapi kalau pakai k-means, of course you need to identify the k. Tapi untuk identify the number of k is very dia ada argument sikit dekat situ. Okay, how many k that is suitable for the problem. Okay, kalau kata contoh lah kita kata k is 5. But how sure we are that 5 is the best value for k for the problem. Okay, so those are the things yang ada banyak argument lah kalau you pakai clustering. So you need to have a good justification to justify all those decision yang you buat bila you buat clustering. And the goal here is to group the individuals in the population together by their similarity, but not driven by any specific purpose. Okay, so dia akan tengok you belajar dah dalam data mining, you belajar dah dalam machine learning. Clustering will definitely look at the feature similarity. Okay, similarity of the features. So dia akan, kalau contoh you belajar dalam machine learning, clustering, you ada apa? You ada K-SOM kan? So K-SOM will look at the similarity distance. Dia tengok kalau kata distance dia kecil, meaning that, oh this is similar. Kalau distance dia besar, that is dissimilar kan? So the question that we can ask here is, do our customer form natural groups or segments? Okay, kalau you nak buat customer segmentation for your FYP, for example, okay, you can use clustering methods. People always use k-means for customer segmentation, or you boleh juga pakai cohorten. So far I tak jumpa lagi lah orang pakai cohorten untuk buat customer segmentation, but if you want to try, why not? Okay, boleh je, tak ada masalah. Because those clustering methods should be able to do the clustering. Dia boleh cluster lah ikut yang sepatutnya. And this is very useful in preliminary domain exploration, which natural groups would later suggest other data mining tasks or approaches. Okay, this clustering we know that you ada belajar dulu kan, clustering can be used at the earliest stage sebagai macam feature selection ataupun feature selection atau dimensionality reduction. Or you can use the clustering at the end of the process. Maknanya clustering tu akan jadi macam classifier you lah dekat belakang sekali. So dia boleh position dekat depan, dia boleh position dekat belakang, but it depends to what task yang you nak buat. Okay. Kalau kata contoh lah, okay, bagi contoh lagi. Kalau kata you nak buat clustering dekat depan you nak buat some classification, okay, you have a big data. Kalau naklah big data ke ataupun a large data set that consists of thousands of thousands of columns. Okay, so you can use the clustering method to do dimensionality reduction. You can reduce the number of columns using clustering. Maknanya dia akan tengok how many variables that significant that will contribute to the you punya classification model ataupun prediction model. Tapi kalau you nak pakai kat belakang tu macam biasalah, macam you buat cohonent semua tu kan, you masuk data, so the cohonent will check the similarities, everything, semua keluar results. Okay, next one is co-occurrence grouping. So this also you guys dah belajar dekat dalam data mining about frequent item set mining. You have learned about association rule, market basket analysis, everything kan dekat dalam data mining dulu. And the goal for this co-occurrence grouping is to find association between individuals based on the transaction involving them. Okay, so dia tengok apa association based on the transaction ataupun based on the data yang dia ada lah. So the question that we can ask here is what items are commonly purchased together? Okay, ataupun what kind of service that the customer for mega telco tu that purchase lah. So task is to identify similarity of objects based on their appearing together in transaction. Contoh, people who bought X will also bought Y. Another example, dia macam ni. Hungry people who bought pizza also bought noodles. Therefore, always offer noodles to someone who bought pizza. Okay, sebab dia berdasarkan dia punya pattern ya. Okay, customer kalau beli pizza akan beli noodles sekali. So, maybe one time dia boleh offer together. And the last one will be the profiling. So profiling, ni sekarang ni semua tengah hot lah kan nak buat profiling. Everybody talking about profiling. Patient profiling lah, customer profiling lah, user profiling, semua nak cuba buat. And then profiling also known as a behavior description. Okay, where we know that by having this profiling kita tahulah different customer, different user, different patient will have different set of macam offers, different set of medication, different set of treatments, okay, based on the patient ataupun user's profile. And the goal is to characterize the typical behavior of an individual, group or population. And the question, what is the typical cell phone usage of this customer segment? Okay, so kita boleh buatlah profile, maknanya kalau dia pakai phone banyak, phone calls banyak, so what are the offer? Okay, what kind of things that the telco company can improve their service? Maknanya untuk to cater this group of people. Kalau kata dia tak pakai calls banyak tapi dia banyak pakai data, so apa benda? We can see that macam Maxis, macam Celcom, they always change their offers kan. Kalau yang internet service provider pun sama juga, they always upgrade their offers. And then the task for profiling is require complex description of night and weekend airtime, averages, international usage, roaming charges and tax minutes. So ada benda lah yang dia akan effect. Maknanya, okay, orang ni pakai sekian, so dia akan effect sekian. Okay, offer dia pun akan jadi lain compared to the other customer. Example here, let's say Jane is a student. This is a service usage profile recorded by the telco. Let's say for January, February and March, dia pakai WhatsApp, dia pakai SMS and dia pakai phone calls. Tiga-tiga ni pakai. And suddenly in April, dia buat roaming. So kita consider this sebagai mismatch lah with the previous history. So dia akan alert the telco company maybe for further action. So what kind of action tu depends lah dekat telco company tu kan. Sebab different company dia ada different style of different action. Another example macam contoh credit cards. Okay, usually the credit card company dia akan tengok kan the spending pattern. What kind of things that their customer always buy. Kalau tiba-tiba, contohlah dia spending semua kat KL, tiba-tiba ada esoknya tu, dia nampak ada transaction dekat US for contoh. Okay, so dia akan alert lah yang kata okay, this is different, semalam dekat sini, hari ni dekat sini, most probably is a fraud transaction ke apa ke, so dia akan buat some verification with the customer. Tu antara benda yang usually they will do. And okay, those are the analytics method. Now we will see which analytic method to be used for the problems. Okay. Sebab like I said before, different problems you need to use different methods. Sebab dia bukan macam boleh pukul rata macam tu je. Meaning that satu methods you boleh pakai semua benda. Tak. You kena tengok what kind of problem, what kind of data do you have, what kind of techniques, what kind of methods yang you nak guna pakai untuk solve the problems. So kalau you tengok, try to relate back with the Chris DM just now. From business understanding, you akan faham, okay, these are the problems, these are the things yang you kena consider, and then look at the data, you understand about the data, you see the behavior of the data, the structure of the data, everything. And then from there, from both parts, from both phases tu, you boleh identify what kind of methods will you use. Okay, you have the business punya objective, the problem that you want to solve, and then you boleh tengok, okay, whether you want to use the supervised punya methods ataupun unsupervised. So tadi yang the methods that I have listed just now, some dia macam campur-campur kan, ada yang supervised, ada yang unsupervised. So dia kena tentukanlah whether kalau nak tahu supervised unsupervised, so usually we will see based on the target. Contoh macam sini okay, for example kalau you ada question, do our customer naturally fall into different groups? And then kita macam, okay, groups apa? Do you have any target? Kalau tak ada target, then we can consider it as an unsupervised method. So carilah what kind of unsupervised methods that we can use to solve the problem. Okay, we have the clustering, we have the co-occurrence grouping, we have the profiling. Okay, nak pakai teknik mana, then you need to investigate lah. Maknanya based on the task, based on the problems, based on the data, try to tengok balik and then try to match with the suitable techniques. But in clustering tu, we know that clustering has a few techniques kan. Tengok. Each of the techniques tu pun ada dia punya strength and weaknesses. Try untuk tengok balik. Always cross-check. Okay, co-occurrence grouping, perlu ke buat co-occurrence grouping ke kena buat clustering sahaja? Tengok which one is suit for your problem. But if you have another question, for example, can we find groups of customers who have particularly high likelihood of cancelling their service soon after their contract expired? So we know that here we have the target. Okay, target kita is whether that customer will cancel their service or not. There are two classes here, cancel, not cancel. Okay, so that will be our class ataupun class label ataupun target. So since we have the target, we know that anything that we have target to, it falls under supervised methods. So supervised method, check balik, okay, what are the methods under supervised punya learning. Okay, we have classification, we have regression. Okay. And for this one, you boleh juga buat similarity matching. Boleh pakai. Maknanya after doing the classification, after doing the clusterings, everything tu, you can perform the similarity matching untuk tengok suitability of the solution dengan problems. Okay, for the second one, yang ni, okay, yang the supervised learning tadi tu, can we find, okay, you need to know, first one is the task, apa benda yang you nak predict. Okay, you need to know the target, the class label. Macam semalam kita tengok customer data tu kan. Actually at first we don't have any class label. Okay, we only have churn transaction. So apa kita punya objektif? Objektifnya adalah to predict ataupun to classify the customers into two classes. Okay, ataupun to predict the customers whether they will churn or not churn. So kita tahulah, okay, that will be our class target. So macam mana nak dapatkan class target ni? Tak ada dalam dataset. So how to generate from where we can generate the class label. So after looking at the data, macam, oh okay, churn transaction can be used to generate the class label. That's why we do the, apa nama benda tu? Generate attributes, okay, from the churn transaction. Okay, so you need to specify you punya target. Okay, because as you know, supervised learning needs target. And the next thing is for classification and regression ni, okay, you need to know a few things lah. Ini for the telco, telco punya case study. So the first one, will this customer purchase service 1 if given incentive X? Dia nak purchase tak service tu kalau dapat incentive tu kan? So the second one, will service package S1, S2 or none will which service package will a customer likely purchase if given incentive X? Okay, and how much will this customer use the service? So those are the things yang macam kita kena fikir. Bila you nak solve the problem. So it's not only giving the solution, macam buat prediction sahaja, dia sampai to this extent lah. Prescriptive punya parts. Okay? And itu sahaja untuk part 1. Sejam jugalah, agak almost 1 hour I membebel. So any question? Ini tak susah pun. Ini kalau keluar dalam soalan exam, it's just a common sense kan. Kalau if you already know, for example macam ni types of analytics, you can tak payah hafal pun all the sentence tu. If you really understand about what is descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive tu, you should be able to answer those questions lah. Dalam final ke, dalam test ke, itu I tak tahu. Tak boleh lah nak bocor ni kan. Okay, any question? Faham tak?
Faham doktor. So far baca je kan.
Ya, baca je. Penat membebel je lah. Saya rasa you all tak ada masalah untuk faham benda ni. Okay, but I would like to emphasize yang ni tadi. Mana dia Chris DM? Chris DM okay ke? Chris DM saya rasa tak susah. Senang je sebab dia very clear kan. Business understanding. You goreng lah nanti what is business understanding. Kalau kata what kind of activities ke apa benda ke. Ni memang chapter goreng-goreng. Okay, but you need to know all the phases lah. Kalau kata you tak tahu phases, nak goreng apa? Okay, tapi jangan goreng hangit sangat lah. Boleh Ini baca je. Subjek ni, chapter ni memang membaca sahaja. I'll try to provide more, articles about these analytic methods, especially the Chris DM, everything. Nanti saya akan bagi dekat you petang ni. Okay, I have that. Cuma nak kena carilah dekat dalam I punya folder tu. Dekat mana. Nanti I bagi dekat you. Okay?
Okay doktor. Test sampai slide ni je kan doktor?
Ya, sikit je. Slide ni sikit je.
Okay.
Tak banyak lah. Tapi sikit-sikit pun 20 markah. That's why I said goreng-goreng. Goreng lah. You baca slide ni, insyaAllah you boleh jawab.
Alright doktor.
There will be 2 parts untuk test hari Jumaat ni, pukul 3 sampai pukul 5. So part A will be the multiple choice. That one will online. You kena masuk and then you kena jawab lah. There will be, I tak ingat lah, 10 questions kot untuk multiple choice. And then we have part B, subjective punya section. There will be only 3 questions. 3 questions. Betul lah 3 questions. 40 marks for the 3 questions tu. Yang tu you kena download lah. Kena download soalan. And then you jawab, you boleh jawab dekat dalam nak type pun boleh, ataupun you can sketch, send me the image, ataupun you nak pakai tablet, you nak pakai iPad ke, nak tulis dekat notes, you can send me the hard copy. The hard copy, but the soft copy lah, send me the files. Okay, anything yang saya boleh conteng balik, yang saya boleh marking. So saya tak adalah strictly macam you need to convert it into PDF ataupun you need to send me an image ke, tak kisah. Kalau words document pun I boleh terima. Kalau you rasa macam you punya tulisan tu akan jadi macam tulisan doktor yang susah untuk saya faham, okay, you can type using words. Okay, as long as you submit the answer on time. Okay, if you don't have any question, so I think I will.
Doktor.
Ya.
Ada
Ada soalan. Finally. Okay, apa dia?
Kan 2 jam kan, ada 2 section kan.
Ya.
So maknanya yang multiple choice tu doktor just open je lah kan 2 jam tu.
Betul. Saya open je. Saya akan buka untuk 2 jam. Tapi okay, 2 jam adalah masa menjawab. Bukan, jangan kelang kabut Jangan kelang kabut, maknanya within 2 hours tu macam you akan buat time tu lah nak kena submit, time tu lah apa semua. Tak, 2 jam tu masa menjawab. So saya akan bagi extra time untuk you submit. Dekat dalam Teams tu nanti saya dah set dah pun. So saya akan dapat ada bagi, sebelum saya tutup, betul-betul tutup you punya test link tu, saya bagi time lah untuk you upload you punya dokumen. Okay, so please make use of 2 hours tu untuk menjawab. Yang part A tu saya pun akan buka untuk 2 jam. So kalau you rasa macam nak buat yang B dulu baru buat A, tak ada masalah. Ataupun buat A macam tak ada idea. Tapi you jangan send sebab saya set seorang boleh hantar sekali je. Sebab tak nak last semester ke last 2 semester setelah buat macam tu, lupa nak set yang seorang sekali je boleh hantar. Dah ada 2-3 orang yang boleh hantar 2-3 kali. But if you have any problems, please tell me. Okay, kalau kata ada internet connection ke apa benda, bagi tahu saya so that I can print the questions and then I will send to you via WhatsApp. Kita guna je all the mediums that we have. Kalau tak, yelah kita tak tahu kan, sometimes time tu lah nak ada problem ni, nak ada problem tu. It's okay, just tell me. Saya cuba cari alternatif what kind of things yang I boleh tolong you untuk you jawab soalan. Okay, tapi kot lah kata ada apa-apa, tak apalah, just text me. Okay, make sure jawab soalan. Macam semalam siapa tak ingat lah siapa cakap dekat saya, kata ada kelas. So kalau kata you ada kelas waktu test, tak apa, saya bagi you masa untuk buat malam. Okay, tapi janganlah pergi riki-riki pula dekat kawan, macam apa soalan keluar. Yang kawan-kawan tu yang dah buat tu jangan cakap sebab kalau tidak nanti saya kena buat soalan lain. Boleh? Kalau ramai saya kena buat set lain. Ada selain daripada semalam siapa cakap dekat saya kenapa dah lupa?
Saya madam.
Selain daripada you siapa lagi? Ada siapa-siapa lagi ada kelas tak? Group A, semalam group B. Group B memang tak ada, you seorang je. Group A ada siapa-siapa ada kelas hari Jumaat petang 3 sampai 5? Okey, tak ada maknanya tak ada jawapan tu, maknanya tak adalah kot kan. Okey lah, nanti you punya tu buat selepas kelas malam. Kalau saya rajin, saya ubahlah soalan tu. So okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Doktor.
Doktor, saya ada soalan.
Apa?
Untuk clustering.
Clustering, okay.
Chemist kan kita tentukan berapa banyak cluster ada kan? Untuk yang lain tu, kita memang buat algoritma lepas tu dia yang tentukan cluster, berapa banyak cluster ada.
Untuk yang lain,
teknik lain. Yang macam doktor cakap tadi. Saya lupa nama clustering teknik tu.
Oh, kohonan. Okay.
Kohonan.
Sebab kohonan tu kalau you belajar dekat dalam machine learning, kohonan dia you tak perlu you tak perlu predefine number of clusters. Macam K-means memang nature dia kena ada centroid. Sebab kalau tak ada centroid, K tu akan tentukan kan berapa centroid yang akan ada dekat dalam you punya space tu. So kalau tak ada centroid, dia nak cari mean distance tu tak boleh. But kalau kohonan ni nama dia kan kohonan self-organizing map. So you tak payah nak letak predefined classes pun. You bagi data, dia akan kira all the similarity using Euclidean distance tu. Kan you ingat tak dulu kalau kata the value for Euclidean distance is low, meaning that ataupun approaching zero, meaning that the two data we consider it the two data are similar. Kalau dia punya value dia besar, maknanya dissimilar. Dia tak sama. So bila tak sama tu automatically kohonan akan organize tau. Dia macam every iteration tu, every epoch dia akan locate data tu. Kalau dekat kalau macam ni, kalau similar dia akan group together. Kalau dissimilar, that's why value dia jauh. Bila value dia jauh, dia akan jauh daripada group tu.
Faham.
So nanti bila dia group, final let's say you buat 1000 iteration, that is the final output. So kalau keluar tiga lah. Tiga je lah kelas. Tapi 3 kelas tu, you kena investigate. Kelas 1 tentang apa? Kelas 2 tentang apa? Kelas 3 tentang apa? Tiga-tiga ni sebenarnya display tentang apa? That's why yang ada cluster analysis.
Faham. So kalau untuk FYP, doktor rasa kalau yang buat clustering techniques ni ada dalam berapa value cluster dia? Tak sure
Come again?
Macam ni dengan macam contoh kan saya kan buat yang scalable detection tu kan. So dalam anggaran saya macam mungkin akan keluar dalam 5 cluster lah. Tapi
Okay,
tak
maknanya
sure
you
lagi.
dah ada predefined cluster ke kat situ?
Saya fikir nak buat chemist tapi in the same time sebab saya nak guna teknik lain juga nak bandingkan. So yang second tu macam contohnya saya guna chemist dengan kohonan. So kohonan tu boleh je ke saya macam estimate dalam kepala okay nanti dia akan keluar 5 lebih kurang masa chemist.
Okay. Saya cerita pasal kohonan Kohonan ni macam chemist kalau you letak 5 dia keluar 5 tau.
Itulah tahu.
Dia keluar lebih daripada 5 kan. Tapi kohonan ni okay, for example kalau saya buat dulu saya guna wood dataset, and this wood dataset I assume wood dataset ni dia ada 52 species. Type of woods dia ada balau lah, meranti lah, jelutung lah, everything. So bila I run dekat dalam kohonan, I assume that I will get 52 clusters. Assume but end up dia tak keluar pun. Dia keluar 3 cluster.
Memang ikut algorithm
dia tak ikut algorithm because the algorithm only search for the similarity. Dia kira similarity untuk data tu, tapi actually data tu bila dia masuk dalam kohonan, dia nak cakap apa? What are the patterns yang dia keluar? So yang saya dapat itu is the most dominant features lah. Features dia adalah pores. Nampak tak? Instead of keluar species, dia keluar pores. So kita tak boleh nak cakap yang kata kohonan memang confirm akan keluar ke tak. Sebab kita tak tahu apa output. We don't know the target yet. So apa benda yang keluar kita kena macam hadap je lah kan. Betul, investigate lah apa benda satu-satu. So kalau macam dalam you punya case tu, saya tak sure whether kohonan is sebab kohonan pun another story kan. You nak buat classic analysis for kohonan, kalau you nak buat pakai kohonan, you buat kohonan saja. You tak payah compare dengan k-means.
Faham.
Unless kalau you nak pakai k-means tu, let's say kata kohonan is the main hero, K-means tu as methods yang you pakai tools, you run dekat RapidMiner ke, dekat Weka ke, and then you compare the results, yang tu boleh. Tapi kalau you nak develop dua-dua, saya tak recommend because it will take long time. Now you tak nampak lagi sebab you sekarang baru investigate. You tak develop lagi tau. Dia bila propose, dia macam semua janji bulan bintang.
Faham.
I've seen this before tau. Banyak, saya dah jaga FYP banyak kali. Banyak semesters, banyak tahun. Bila proposal presentation tu, memang excellent, okay? Semua bulan bintang. Dia kata, oh saya boleh buat ni madam, confirm boleh buat ni. End up, tak ada. Tak sempat. So, kita kena realistik lah. You belajar kan, macam objektif must be smart, kena realistik. One of it adalah realistik, tengok based on time. Cukup tak cukup. So kalau kata you nak fokus on component, fokus on component. Kalau you nak buat pakai K-means, dah pakai K-means sahaja.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Doktor.
Macam tak boleh cerita dekat belakang kan, nak cerita lah.
tak tahu pula diorang ke.
Okay, tak apa. But terus ada things yang kena consider lah kalau you nak cakap pasal FYP, sebab saya tak nak nanti macam, of course lah, mungkin tak cukup, tapi kita akan tengok what are the things. Sebab K-means pun walaupun nampak macam mudah, but actually K-means tu susah juga sebenarnya. Nampak proses clustering punya proses, kalau kita tengok algorithm, tak susah. When it comes to cluster analysis, you nak analyze satu results tu, that is the most challenging part dekat dalam clustering. So dia macam timbal balas lah gitu. Classification, the algorithm might be complex compared to clustering, tapi the result will be straightforward, senang interpret. Tapi clustering, senang algorithm, interpretation tu lah susah sebab you tak ada class label kan. Macam you nak explain everything. Itulah ceritanya.
Thank you, Doktor.
Welcome. Itulah dia bincang bila dia cerita pasal FYP ni just seronok tau.
Betul.
Macam salah subjek.
So belajar cluster sikit kan tadi.
Oh, okay.
Yang tu tanya.
Okay lah kalau you nak buat pakai clustering, tapi data you suits tak? Okay tak?
Saya tak script lagi data tu. Tengah literature review lagi kan.
Okay, boleh try. Kenapa saya cakap boleh try? Sebab kita nak tengok whether bentuk data tu. Sebab nanti bila you nak buat, okay, this is my advice to every one of you. Bila you nak buat FYP, betul you kata okay, saya nak pakai data ni, nak script. Oh, confident ni nak script. Tapi are you sure that data yang you akan script tu memenuhi keperluan untuk you punya FYP? Cukup tak? Cukup in terms of number of data. Sebab kadang-kadang bila kita nak script, you have to make sure that you script. Kalau Dr. Rohaila punya style, dia kata macam okay, kalau scraping must be more than 10,000. Kenapa more than 10,000? Sebab nanti bila you buat pre-processing, definitely dia akan kurang. Kalau you scrape 2,000, tinggal berapa je nanti. Sebab kalau kat website tu mungkin the chances tu agak tinggi untuk tak banyak data yang kita akan hilang. Tapi kalau you scrape from tweets, memang you kena make sure yang scrape data tu banyak. Sebab tweets kan kadang-kadang tu retweets lah, kadang-kadang dia letak hyperlink everything, ada promo apa semua tu. So itu yang kadang-kadang 5,000, dulu pernah students dia cakap oh saya ada 5,000, saya scrape 5,000 something lah. Tapi bila dia proses tinggal 700 je.
Uish. Sikit.
Ini real case Saya pun macam pening jugalah waktu tu, tapi since benda tu jadi waktu part 6 yang you dah buat development, you tak cukup masa, and you have to remember during part 6 you need to focus on your thesis writing. Thesis writing contributes 65% of the total marks. And your CSP650 carries 6 credit hours next semester. Okay, saya tahu you all dah tahu benda tu, tapi saya nak emphasize juga benda tu sebab kadang-kadang lupa. Ramai students lupa yang itu 6 credit hours. So bila dia buat cincai, bukan buat, saya tak rasa lah you all nak buat cincai, cumanya macam bila ada kerja lain letak tepi dulu. Okay, buat kerja ni dulu. Lepas tu nanti kan macam, oh tak apa, ni tak apa, boleh speed ni, boleh speed. Tak ada. You tak tahu during development process tu what are the things, what are the problems yang you akan face. So cuba dapatkan data awal-awal, tengok macam mana untuk confirm solution. Kalau boleh confirmkan method tu by this semester.
Okay.
Itu saya punya nasihat sebagai pensyarah CSP 650. 650 ke 600 yang dulu-dulu saya duk ajar tu memang you kena memang during 600 tu you dah kena firm. Sebab nanti 650 kalau you rasa macam tak apalah sem depan ada lagi. You kena ingat sem depan you puasa, you raya. Berapa banyak masa dah you hilang. And semester tak tambah tau. I mean the number of weeks dalam semester tu masih dalam 14 weeks. And dalam 14 weeks tu juga you nak kena submit thesis dan complete the development. Okay? Itu
Okay,
adalah nasihat saya untuk you all untuk subjek CSP. Okay, so nak cakap bil. Okay lah, semua orang ada pula tu ingatkan. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye. So,
Thank you, Doktor.
Friday afternoon, okay. Nanti saya akan bagi alert jugalah sebelum start start test tu sebab takut kan kadang-kadang tu dia terleka, kadang-kadang tertidur tengah hari kan. Biasalah. So saya akan bagi alert mungkin dalam pukul 2 macam tu supaya you dah sedia. So nak solat ke nak apa ke, okay, solat dulu sebelum you start test. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum. Saya bagi kejap lagi nota ni dalam group. Okay, bye. Kejap. Nak off record.
Thank you, Dok.